I should have listened. That night, my life changed forever, and now I can't sleep without the lights on. The sun was setting when I left my friend's house. We had been talking about strange things happening in the village, disappearances, shadows moving at night, whispers in the dark. It's just superstition, I laughed. But my friend was serious. You think it's a joke? My cousin swore he saw something last week. He was using his phone late at night when his screen suddenly showed a face. His own face, but smiling differently. Then, his phone turned off by itself. I rolled my eyes, maybe his battery was low. He charged it that night, it was full, my friend insisted. Since then, he's been sick. He barely speaks. His eyes look empty. I wanted to laugh it off, but something in my friend's voice made me uneasy. I left his house just before dark, shaking off the feeling it was just a silly story, nothing more. By the time I got home, I was exhausted. My feet ached. My eyes were really heavy. I kicked off my shoes and fell onto my bed. Then my phone buzzed. I had so many unread messages, some from my friend, others from random chats. I sighed and started replying. The room was dark except for my phone's light. The blue glow reflected on the walls. It felt peaceful and quiet. Then it happened. I was typing a message when my screen flickered. The chat disappeared, the keyboard vanished, then I saw it, my reflection on the screen, but it wasn't me. It looked exactly like me, but the eyes were too wide. The lips were stretched in a grin I had never made in my life. I blinked, the screen went blank. I pressed the power button, nothing. Then I heard it. Why are you awake? I froze. My phone vibrated in my hand, but the screen was still blank. The air around me felt heavy, like something was breathing beside me, watching me. I wanted to run, but my body refused to move. Then, nothing. The phone turned on again. The messages were back like nothing had happened. I left out a shaky breath. Maybe I was just too tired. Maybe my mind was playing tricks on me based on what my friend told me. I put my phone down and tried to sleep. I should have stopped there, but I didn't. A few hours later, I woke up. I wasn't sure why. Maybe a bad dream, maybe test. But then, I did the worst thing possible. I picked up my phone. The moment I unlocked it, the screen flashed white. A new message popped up. You did not listen. I wanted to throw the phone away, but I couldn't. My fingers wouldn't let go. Then the room went completely silent. Too silent. No crickets, no wind, nothing. And then I felt it. Cold fingers brushing my arm. I screamed and threw my phone across the room. The screen cracked, but it was still on. The words changed. Now look behind you. Tears filled my eyes. I couldn't breathe. I didn't want to look. Then the bed dipped, like someone had just sat behind me. A shadow stretched across the wall. It was tall, too thin, and it was moving. I bolted. I ran out of my room, nearly falling over. My mother was in the living room, half asleep. I clung to her, shaking, unable to speak. She looked at me and frowned. What is wrong with you, this boy? Why are you running like a mad person? I pointed to my room, shaking my head. Something was there. My voice was barely above a whisper. She sighed and stood up. Let me go and check. Big boy like you, running because of nightmare. I followed her slowly, afraid to enter again. She turned on the light. Nothing. My bed was the same. My clothes were the same. My phone was still on the floor. The screen cracked but working. She hissed. You see, nothing is there. I keep telling you, stop pressing this phone every time. Morning, phone. Afternoon, phone. Night, phone. Now you are seeing ghosts. I wanted to argue, but I was too shaken. Then she sat down and looked at me with serious eyes. Let me tell you something. You think you are the first person this thing has happened to? You are even lucky. I swallowed hard. Lucky? She nodded. Do you remember Mama Ife's son? The one that traveled? I nodded slowly. Yes. She leaned closer. Do you know why he left? He was using his phone too much. One day he slept with the phone on his chest while charging it. The phone exploded and burst his head open. My eyes widened in horror. She clapped her hands together. Bam! Just like that, blood everywhere. His mother cried. But what could she do? He was gone. I felt sick. Really sick. She shook her head. Now, you too, you are pressing phone every night. Ghosts have started warning you, and you are still stubborn. Continue. One day, I will wake up and see your face on that screen smiling at me. I shivered. I could still hear the whisper from my room. Still neglecting what my mother had said, I could still feel the cold fingers on my arm. I nodded quickly. I will stop. She scoffed. Better for you. That night, I didn't sleep in my room. I stayed close to my mother, shaking, afraid. Since that day, I never used my phone in the dark. And now, I am telling you this, never use your phone at night. Thanks for watching my video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, in order to get notified when we upload our subsequent videos.